Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And thank you guys. Welcome back to, I think, the 21st session of the Sufi Path of Knowledge classes. And, we're now on chapter 6 of the book. So we're making some good progress. This is entitled The New Creation. So with this, I think we start to get into a little bit of the cosmology of the Shaykh al-Akbar. So here it says, discussion of the oneness of being leaves us with a relatively static picture of everything that exists. Yet few concepts are essential to Ibn al-Arabi's teachings as change. Everything other than God dwells by definition in continual flux. Being alone remains unchanged. So wujud alone remains unchanged, while all existence displays being's infinite properties in kaleidoscopic variety. So it's like everything that you see happening around you and changing, right? Those are just the ahkam, the properties of being, but being itself remains what it is, unchanged. In itself, being's oneness allows for no multiplicity, yet only multiplicity can give rise to diversity of forms, whether spatially or temporally. That means in space or time. Just as the entities display their properties within the manifest in indefinite variety at any given moment, so at each successive moment, each thing undergoes fluctuation, transformation, and transmutation. Ibn al-Arabi discerns the divine rules of change in many Quranic verses, especially no indeed, but they are confusion as to new creation, خلق جديد. And each day he is upon some task, some sha'an. Two closely connected concepts are the lack of repetition, takrar, in the divine disclosure, al-tajalli, which means that God never displays himself twice in exactly the same form and the same vastness, ittisa' or tawassu', which demands the infinity of the possible things. Okay, infinite possibility. The possible things in their state of non-existence are infinite in number. So that means ما لا يتناهى or لا نهاية له or غير متناهي. So that's the other word for infinity. So literally in Arabic, infinity means what has no end. That's how you say infinity in Arabic. Possibility is an inexhaustible treasury, khizana, from which God continues to create forever. Ibn al-Arabi finds references to it in such Quranic verses as the above quoted, there is no thing whose treasuries are not with us, and we send it down, and we send it not down, but in a known measure. For Ibn al-Arabi, this means being can manifest itself through the form of any possible thing, just as water upon, upon which the throne of God is placed, can take the shape of any receptacle. Yes. However, since one form excludes another form, existence defined as the manifest cosmos cannot be infinite. It is the non-existent possibilities that are infinite, right? Because when something enters into existence, it takes on form which by definition delimits it, right? So it's only the actual non-existent possibilities that are infinite. But once you come into existence, it's finite. Within the treasuries are found the individuals of the genera. These individuals are infinite, and that which is infinite does not enter into existence, since everything confined by existence is finite. That which is with God, and Allah, is infinite, but it is impossible for the infinite to enter into existence. So everything that enters into existence is finite. When the finite is compared with the infinite, it appears as little or as nothing, even if it is a great deal. The possible things are infinite, and there cannot be more than the infinite. But the infinite does not enter into existence all at once. Rather, it enters little by little with no end. The infinity of the possible things underlies the discussion of the continual recreation of all things. Behind the fragile appearance of the existent things, which make up the cosmos, stands the infinite ocean, stands the infinite ocean, forever replenishing the waves on its surface. And just as the number of possible things is infinite, so also are the changes undergone by each possible thing. Or rather, in the last analysis, Each new state, each changed situation is a newly created possible thing, similar to the first, to be sure, but not identical. So I don't know if people know what that means, but the idea is that each moment in existence is new, even if like you don't see that. So for example, like the pencil that's sitting on my table, it's a pencil 1 second, but in the next second it's a new pencil. It's not the same one. It looks the same to you. So that's called the myth of the similar. God recreates each thing in each new moment, but now it's a new pencil. And then in the next moment it's also a new pencil, and so on and so forth. Yay. So he says, it may be that the situation of a specific species, such as man, is finite, since the individuals of the species are finite, though the individuals of the cosmos are not finite. However, there is another sense in which the creation of individual human beings is in fact infinite, though not everyone is aware of it. It is referred to in his words, no, indeed, but they are in confusion as to a new creation. The entity of each individual is renewed at each instant, and necessarily so, for the real never ceases being the agent of existence in the possible things. This is shown by the diversity of properties of the entities in every state. The entity which has this specific state cannot be the same as the entity which has that state, the passing and disappearance of which was witnessed. So he's saying something like really interesting, right? Um, it's like if you talk about a pencil that's being used, for example, right? Um, we tend to think of it as the same pencil, right? Let's say like 1 hour later, when the length of the pencil is shortened and you keep using the sharpener and you keep on using the pencil and it gets very small. Well, for monogamy, that's a new pencil now because it's got a different state. Like a short pencil and a long pencil are two different creations because they're two different states. Okay, perpetual renewal. Ibn al-Arabi traces the theoretical exposition of the idea of a perpetually renewed creation back to the Ash'arite theologians, though he criticizes their view as being incomplete. They maintain that the cosmos is composed of substances and accidents, and that the substances remain constant while the accident does not remain for 2 moments. لا تبقى زمانين. So like what is a substance? What is an accident? Like an apple is a substance. The color of the apple is an accident. So the redness of an apple is an accident. The yellowness of an apple is an accident. The greenness of an apple is an accident. If we talk about temperature, how hot or cold an apple pie is, the temperature of the apple pie is an accident, but the apple pie itself is a substance. So according to like this theological, rational, scholastic school, they're called the Ash'aris. Um, they have like a major place in Islam, and it tends to be the school theology that most Muslims abide by, ordinarily speaking. So what they say is that substances are constant, but it's the accidents that are renewed. Um, I'm not an expert in kalam, so I can't explain to you why that's the case, but I'd love to read more about it and understand why they say that, why they think substances are constant, but the accidents can't remain. Like so, like rationally, you can argue that the accidents cannot remain. But I'd have to read more about that. So Ibn Arabi disagrees with that. He says actually nothing remains, period, including substances. Nothing is constant. It has to be like continuously renewed. It possesses nothing possesses stability in existence in itself, right? So what happens is that the mountain you see, it appears to be stable and firm and strong, but actually the next second, not even the next second, the next smallest unit of time, it has already disappeared. And then God has recreated that mountain again. But he does it so fast that we don't see it. It just appears constant to us. Um, so one of the ways that people have explained this is like a film strip. If you watch a film and you especially look at a film strip, you've got the moving frames, right? And then you've got the black space that's in between each frame. So as you progress from one frame to another, uh, the previous frame is being annihilated, and you're in the black space. But then you move on to the next frame. But it happens so fast that your eye can't notice the black point, the black line, where it's disappearing. So that's what we're like right now. If we could have kashaf and unveiling, we would see before our very eyes that everything is constantly being destroyed and recreated extremely fast, too fast for our eyes to keep up. So there's this insubstantiality, which is a very Buddhist like way of looking at it. For you to affirm that the cosmos is substantially nothing. Any thoughts at this point or questions?
May I ask, Dr. Faris?
Sure, yeah.
Is it like dying and rebirthing? Is it like the يعني we're saying in many spiritual terms that there are like rebirthing. So is it like uh, is this the same like human being as well? We're rebirthing all the time. Like we're not in the same state ever. It's like every breath it's a new state. Every breath is a new state, a new
Every breath.
opportunity as well. So it's like new, God is giving us new opportunity like every with every breath or even less than
Yes.
a breath as well. So is it like could it be like dying and rebirthing, or this is not the case in this um
It's so I see why you say that. He's not talking about dying and rebirth, but you could look at it that way if you want to. But just imagine Sahar, like it's happening so fast. Like this is happening
Mhm.
in nanoseconds. Like you can't even notice it, but it just keeps happening so quickly. Um, it's more about like this universe has no power on its own. Like it has nothing, right?
I
It
got
ne
it.
it only it needs someone to keep it alive and to keep it going. So who is that? It's actually wajib wujud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because without him, without his madad, you could say his madad, without his madad, the universe disappears in the next second. Like it's gone.
Hmm.
As if someone turned the TV off.
Is it in the Quranic verse like it's filled in Quran خلق جديد خلق جديد خلق جديد, you see it in many verses in Quran like
Yes.
new خلق new خلق new خلق, so
Now,
it's constant خلق جديد or new I don't know how to uh,
creation, new creation.
new
Yes.
creation.
Yeah. That's
Beautiful.
that's exactly it because the tafsir, the exegesis of the verse, the tafsir of the verse is that it's talking about Yom Al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment, which is correct. So it's about the day of judgment will be made again. But also there's another layer, there's another meaning. The other meaning of the verse is it's happening every second.
Yeah,
Every single
beautiful.
second, it's a new you have a new surah. Like this pen, I don't know if you can see it on my camera. This pen,
Mhm.
each second it's a new it's a new pen. It's not the same one. But it looks similar. So Allah Ta'ala he recreates the similars, al-amthal. So this is a
Mhm.
mithal, but it's not the same one.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, it's beautiful. Is it related as well? كل إلينا راجعون. It's all like it
Yes.
comes back to us. It comes back to us, and then we recreate, and it comes back to us, and then we recreate something like that. Because it's
Y-
إن إلينا يعني كل إلينا راجعون. All will return. Is returning actually. Some verses returning and some verses will return, so it's like linked in a way or
so this is completely true. Yes. So that's by the way. So this is completely correct. That's why in paradise and Jannah, and may Allah give it to all of you and us, inshallah ta'ala.
I mean, yeah.
In in Jannah, that's why you can't get bored. So what is al-mumil? What's boredom?
Hmm.
Boredom is when you're in the same moment twice. You're in the same moment twice, and nothing has changed. But what happens in paradise? is no two moments are the same. So every time you do something, each moment is like you're in the first moment, the first time you're doing it.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
you can like so I mean even so in Christianity they have this thing as well. It's like I think it's called epectasis. It's a series of new beginnings. Each moment is a new beginning. So you can never get bored. Um it's impossible to get bored in paradise. That's why there's also a hadith to that effect that says God does not become bored with you the way you become bored with him. So the Arifin, when they have this vision, they don't get bored on earth because they see everything being made new again and again. You can like get you can get a sense of how this works with just an apple. If you bite an apple, no two bites of an apple are exactly the same. They're not. Each bite is slightly different. So you can even get an idea of that just by just with your
Absolutely.
ordinary activities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't agree more. جزاكم الله خير. Beautiful.
Allah يبارك فيكي. Yes, Hannah then Irvina.
Actually, what you said is now about the. I also thought of watching a time lapse video, like of a plant growing. That's also perfect. Feels to me like a good example of how that from the moment to moment, because you can really see that changing. Or like you mentioned with the film, the black bit between in the film, and then because you mentioned that, and then you used the word it's from the madad of
Yes,
Allah, and then
yes.
that did you not in the video that you posted on the chat about the book Kitab al Markaba or something?
مقام
Um,
الغربة مقام الغربة. Yes.
uh-huh. um, did you call that maqam the maqam al madad at one point?
No, but madad comes from that maqam. Madad
Okay.
comes from that maqam
Mm,
to the to the people it either assists or it's the
yeah.
people who are in that maqam.
Yeah, and then you also called it maqam of annihilation. So I was just thinking maybe that moment of annihilation between creation and no more creation, where Allah is in that, He's demonstrating that He is the only true existence. But obviously, then I suppose no. But can you? I was just thinking, it's a bit like I suppose it's not possible for somebody to be aware of the moment of annihilation, but they're aware of
The subsistence.
of the sub.
So what happens is like if there's a trace, so there
Mm,
has to be like a proof, what's called a burhan or an
yeah.
athar. If or actually a shaheed, a witness.
Mm,
There's something that's left in the heart that bears witness to what happened. That's the proof that you underwent annihilation.
mm. Oh,
That's the
yeah.
proof.
Sorry, yeah. Ah, okay. And so could it be that this part of these elite saints, is that part of what they're witnessing then, that this maqam of annihilation or maqam la maqam is connected to that.
He, Ibn Arabi did not talk about it in that kitab, so I don't know. But by the way, I have zero doubt that the elite
Mm,
saints do witness this. I have zero doubt. But
mm,
but where does it come from? I don't know.
mm.
Because yeah, it probably comes from like some other maqam, but I don't know where it comes from. Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
but like yeah, they this is what the elite saints see.
Oh, subhanallah. And you said that there's a trace, and that reminded me of what they say about Laylatul Qadr. If you've
Yeah.
witnessed Laylatul Qadr, you'll be able to smell the burnt smell of everything that has been annihilated in that fire of his gaze.
Yeah.
You smell the burnt. You have an aftertaste of burnt. Allahu
So
Akbar. Subhanallah. That's
subhanallah,
what Sheikh Nazim said
subhanallah.
anyway. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Harris. Thank you.
Allah يبارك فيك. Thank you. Irvina.
Assalamu alaikum all.
Right, sounds good.
You mentioned boredom, and I know that
Yes,
I've made this question before, like maybe 1 year ago or something like that.
sure.
But I was thinking about nostalgia.
Yes.
Like we as human beings have sometimes a nostalgia to live a moment twice or thrice,
Yes.
many times. How would we explain that?
Oh, you can never get that moment back ever again, but you can get the enjoyment of the nostalgia by the repetition of a similar.
Yeah, but why do we have it?
Why do we have it?
Mhm.
Because we enjoyed the first moment, isn't it? We enjoyed the first moment, so we wanted to come back. But I mean, clearly your question is pointing at something deeper. But I'd have to think about it because who knows? Maybe nostalgia is a yearning for something we experienced in pre-eternity. Who knows?
Yeah, I would say so as well. I can't agree more. Yes,
Mm,
100%. It came to me as well.
subhanallah.
I would connect it to the question Tina Lundberg has made in the chat. Does that mean that we also become new each moment? And I was thinking about the Ain al Thabita as well. Our
Yes.
Ain al Thabita doesn't change, it's constant.
But the surah changed precisely. The ayn thabita does not change, but the form that is enclosed on the ayn thabita changes. Yes.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
wait. Yes. Sorry. So Tina and then Zanira. Yes.
Yes, hi everyone. I wanted to catch on to what Sahar said about everything being created anew with every breath. And would
Yes.
that imply that it's a freshness or even to some extent an
Mm,
innocence that we're giving a new chance with every breath? Because I mean, change can imply both ways. I mean, one would want to think that we're striving towards better, but we might not know. So the fact, if you think that in the reference of new, there is some kind of yes, I can only call it freshness and innocence. That it means like if you're new, it's like a newborn baby is innocent.
yes.
Is there any of this sort of taste in it?
Oh, 100%. But yeah. Yes. Yes. Why? Because no two moments can be the same. So this is like a going to be like a universal axiom of Ibn al-Arabi. No two moments can be alike, and there's a theological justification for that. They no two moments can be the same. There can be no repetition in existence because of God's name, the vast, the wasi'ah. For him to be truly vast, there cannot be repetition. So, since no two moments are the same, for sure, there's a freshness to each moment. The question becomes, are you aware of that freshness? That becomes the question. So it's like a form of meditation.
Very true. Very true.
Can you tap into that level of consciousness to see that it's fresh? But the reality is that it is. Um, Zanira,
Assalamu alaikum.
wa alaikum assalam.
This conversation, I guess, is also relevant to causation, right? Like, because I remember reading Ghazali on this basically, and like he made this kind of joke about how why would someone like how you spoke about the pencil being recreated the next moment I think he speaks about like white something if something is white if your pencil for instance is white it's
Yes.
recreated the next moment as white that's why it quote unquote continues to be white but Allah could just as easily recreate it as black and that is first of all just as easy but it would still be very normal for in terms of how creation is
Yes.
and then he kind of makes like a joke as to why you would think that if you left a notebook on your table, why when you come back, why has Allah not recreated it as a beardless slave boy? I think. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, so but it's just like when he makes really quite drastic differences for us, that's when we notice them. And I guess that's like there's reels and videos like where people do like an outfit change, they suddenly, and so when the transition happens because it's sudden, we notice it, but sometimes they make it really slow and then we don't notice when it happens. But I wanted to just read an ayah that is relevant to what Sahar was saying about like returning to God, for example, when we die. I think the creation and recreation is from this ayah. Allahu yabda'u al-khalqa thumma yu'iduhu thumma ilayhi turja'un. And so it's like al-mubdi and al-mu'id. He's creating and then he's restoring or recreating. And so there's two words there. They can both be translated as return or recreate. But yu'id is actually like, the same root as Eid, which keeps coming again and again and again.
Yes.
And then, so it's like every creation is being created again and again and again. And then ruji'u, which also means return, is actually you just return to God once and for all. That's it. Like after we die and we're done. So there's like the subtlety of return. The two words in Arabic for returning, aada yaudu and raja. And so there's like a more of repetition in yuridu. And what Irvina was saying was about, I think it's a manifestation of Allah's name Al-Baqi. And because our soul is actually, our spirit, our ruh, is baqi, it is eternal. When something is really good, we want it to last forever. And that's why, like, in relationships and stuff, like we'll say, oh, this is my best friend forever. We don't actually know that, but we wish it would be that way because we want to manifest baqa, but it doesn't actually manifest in this realm. So whenever we're going nostalgia, we're kind of trying to connect with the baqa of that beauty, which is kind of the state of Jannah, right? Like two main things in Jannah is like abundance, al-wasi', like you said, and al-baqi, like it's everything is there and it's forever. Khalidina fiha.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Very true. No, Jazakallah khairan for that, Zmira. MashaAllah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sorry, Zmira, was there a question there or was it just an observation?
No, just the references of the names.
And really beautiful references, actually. Thank you so much. Allah barak fiki. And Noor.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Faris.
Alaikum salam.
In a very long time ago, someone asked a question in a YouTube video, how is it possible, something about the eye of the number of virgins, and the person who explained it in a very similar way like this, that no, there are not so many virgins, it's not like that, it's the recreation. The person is actually perceiving it to be recreated that many times. So is that it just came to my mind that is that the same explanation for that ayah?
Could you repeat that? So the recreation of things?
Yeah. So it was a question answer session, and the person asked, how is it like you can have like so many virgins or so many partners when in the heaven, referring to that ayah. And the way the imam or the speaker, I don't remember who, replied to them was in a similar manner of recreation and creation again and again. It's the same person being recreated again and again.
Maybe. So heaven's going to be like a weird. It has weird physics. Weird physics. Like you can be in two places at once.
Mm.
And it's like there's a market in the garden. Like the way you shop for clothes, you can shop for forms,
Okay.
bodily forms. It's like it's got like really weird physics. I don't claim to fully understand it actually. Maybe you guys understand when you get there, inshallah.
Inshallah.
No, it's really interesting. There's something I wanted to say, but I forgot what it was. Inshallah. Okay, then let's carry on. If it comes back to my mind, I'll bring it up. Okay. So the basic difference between the Ash'arite view and that's the Shaykh al-Akbar is that he holds that substances are no different from accidents and being perpetually recreated. Oh, I remember. So I want to talk about Nur. So this is how this the throne of Bilqis, if you remember the episode from the Quran, the throne of Bilqis is transported from her palace to the palace of Sayyid Sulaiman to the palace of Solomon. That's how it gets transported. It's annihilated and recreated. That's how it happens in like one instant. In the Fusus al-Hikam, he goes to some lengths to describe the errors of the Ash'arites, concluding that they did not understand that the whole cosmos is a collection of accidents. Hence, it undergoes continual change at every moment, since the accident does not remain for 2 moments. In Ibn al-Arabi's view, way of looking at things, the various kinds of substance discussed by theologians and philosophers are themselves accidents in respect to a still deeper substance, which is being, or the breath of the All-Merciful. All things, both substances and accidents, are in fact accidents, like in the big picture. The effects of the immutable entities found in manifest being. The substance of the cosmos is the one entity. At root, the substance of the cosmos is one. It never changes from its reality. Every form that becomes manifest within it is an accident, which in actual fact undergoes transmutation at each indivisible instant. So every form that you see, right, that becomes manifest within this cosmic substance is just an accident in reality. And it's undergoing transmutation. That means change. It is undergoing continuous change at each indivisible moment. What's the indivisible moment? Zaman Fard. What's Zaman Fard? It's the smallest unit of time. Smaller than a second, smaller than a millisecond, smaller than a nanosecond. So what that means is like there's an argument in philosophy about is time infinite or is time finite? So Ibn Arabi is taking the view that time is finite. Like you could break down the units of time into a smallest unit that can't be broken down further. So there's an actual smallest unit of time. That's called the Zaman al-Fard. Zaman Fard. The real, so God brings similars into existence perpetually, since he is the creator perpetually. So each Zaman Fard, each instantaneous moment, the similars are coming into existence, but you don't notice that. While the possible things in the state of their non-existence possess the preparedness to receive existence. No non-existence ever overcomes the cosmos in respect of its substance. Nor does any form ever remain for 2 instants. Creation never ceases while the entities are receivers, which take off and put on existence. So in every instant, you see, so here he says nafas. So at every breath, in every nafas, the cosmos, in respect of its form, undergoes a new creation in which there is no repetition. لا تكرار في التجلي. لا تكرار, there's no repetition. The Quranic expression ajal or term designates the moment of death foreordained by God, or the moment at which something comes to an end, or the length of something's existence. In one passage, Ibn al-Arabi declares that God has established a term for every form in the cosmos, except for the entities which receive the forms. Can someone read in my place, please?
I can have a go.
Yes, please, Hannah. Thank you.
I just have to go and sit somewhere with better light. That used to be. So exactly what did you stop on that in one? The Quranic expression. I'll just start that paragraph again, right? The Quranic expression, ajal.
So literally the bottom of the page of 97. So God says everyone runs to a stated term.
Right. God says everyone runs to a stated term. And he says he decreed a term stated with him. He brought the word every, which demands all-encompassingness and all-inclusiveness. But we have said that the entities that receive the forms have no term. So how can they escape from the property of the every? We say they have not escaped. Rather, the term that belongs to the entity is its relationship, irtibat, to one of the forms which it receives. Its receiving it reaches a stated term, which is the expiration of the moment of that form. When the term known to God reaches this relationship, the form ceases to exist and the entity receives another form. Hence, the entities run to a stated term by receiving a form, just as the form runs to a stated term by being affirmed for that entity, which is the locus of its manifestation. Hence, that every embraces the stated term.
So what does this mean? Thanks, Anna. So what does this mean? So we have Ain and we have Surah. The Ayan al-Thabita, or the Ain al-Thabit, is what you are and God's knowledge. It's the way He knows you, right? So if you, for example, you think you're a mathematician, but then in future God knows you're going to be a painter, then to him in reality you're a painter, right? Umar bin al-Khattab, during the beginning of the seerah, when Rasulullah first became a Nabi, he was a mushrik. But in Allah's knowledge, what was Umar?
A believer.
Muslim.
A mu'min.
Exactly. Exactly. So in Allah's knowledge, even when Umar was a mushrik, he was actually a believing Muslim, the second Khalifa of the entire Ummah, one of the greatest believers. So that's
And it
why
could be vice versa as well, right, Dr. Faris?
and it can be
It could
vice
be
versa.
Yeah, like the same for السامري.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
Like the Samiri who was the Sahib Musa alayhi salam. He was a companion of Moses, but then he worshipped the Ajal, the golden calf. Yes. And it can also be the vice versa. So Allah knows what you are. That's called your Ain Thabita. So what does that mean? What's the surah? When Omar was bowing down to the idol, correct? When Sayyidina Omar was bowing down to the idol, that was the surah of kufr and surah al-shirk. But the Ain was Muslim. So the surah of Umar bin Khattab came to an ajal musamma. The word is ajal, came to a fixed term. Then the term finished, and he became what? He became a Muslim. So now then the new surah, the new form of Iman, the new form of faith began. Does that make sense? Hence we have
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually for me, it's too scary. Why? Why? That's why we are saying always this dua, Allahumma rizqna husn al-khatima, the good ending, because we don't know. Like, when I heard the story of Samurai, that he was raised by Sayyidina Jibril.
Wow.
He
Wow.
was raised by Sayyidina because he was an orphan, and then his parents left him, and he was raised by Sayyidina Gabriel, and look what he has done at the end. And Sayyidina Musa, it's vice versa. He was raised by Fir'aun, and then he became a prophet. So this is a little bit like يعني طبعا it's up to God يعني God has it all in the written اللوح المحفوظ, in the
Yes.
written لوح. But it's it gets scary sometimes that يعني we don't know the essence. I don't know. You get what I mean? Like now
Of course. Of course, yes.
now I am Muslim, but I don't know what's gonna happen to me and now I'm a believer in everything, and Allahu A'lam, يعني in the future what will happen.
And that's why we stay humble.
Mm.
And that's why we stay humble. Yes. And
Mm.
we don't have kibriya because we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah.
I think also there's a hadith of, I think, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, that even if one of my feet is in Jannah, I wouldn't be I
Yes.
wouldn't be satisfied or at ease until my other foot is also in Jannah.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at that level of taqwa. Exactly. MashaAllah. Um, yeah, alhamdulillah. Hannah, please.
God has decreed for each thing a term in a given affair which it reaches. Then the thing passes to another state in which it also runs to a stated term, and God creates perpetually at each instant. Ma'al nafas. So among the things, some remain for the length of the moment of their existence and reach their term in the second moment of the time of their existence. This is the smallest duration, mudda, in the cosmos.
Mm.
God does this so that the entities will be poor and needy toward God at each instant. For if they were to remain in existence for 2 moments or more, they would be qualified by independence, ghina, from God in that duration. This is a position which no one maintains except the folk of verified unveiling among us and the Ash'arites among the theologians.
So you see the theological justification there, right? And that's part of the reason why Rabi' al-Adawi Radiallahu ta'ala anha says that you saying that I exist is the greatest sin possible. The man went up to her and said, I have no sins, but I say that I exist. My existence belongs to me. So she says to him, that's the worst possible thing you could have said. That's the greatest sin you could have possibly said, that your existence belongs to you. Because then you're qualified by independence from God, right? And that's the justification for saying that no two moments can remain consecutively, one after the other. The next moment, it has to pass away and die. So it needs God. It's poor and need towards God, who then recreates it. The
Sorry, I have
Sheikh,
a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Which one? What is he referring to when he says this is a position which no one maintains except the folk of verified unveiling and the Ash'ari? The recreation cosmology.
Yes, the recreation,
Okay.
exactly. Yes, yes. Um, so the Sheikh often returns to the affirmation of the poverty of the things as the reason for and proof of the constant renewal of creation. The possible things can never escape from perpetual need for a preponderator, a murajjah, in order to stay in existence. To maintain otherwise would be to claim that they are independent from God, but as we have seen, independence is strictly a divine attribute, while poverty is inherent to all created things. The cosmos is never fixed in a single state for a moment, since God is ever creating constantly. Were the cosmos to remain in a single state for 2 moments, it would be described by independence from God. But people are in confusion as to a new creation, خلق جديد, right? Now, I'm wondering if we should stop here. Yeah, I think we can stop at breaking habits. So we'll make this the last section for tonight, divine tasks. So Ibn al-Arabi quotes no Quranic passage in support of the new creation more often than the verse, each day he is upon some task. وَكُلُّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْن. Sha'an is the task. The word actually literally means a brilliant luminance. A brilliant luminance. Um, Frequently, he explains the meaning of this day while discussing the various kinds of days mentioned in the Quran and the Hadith, such as the 1,000 or 50,000 year days of Quran 32, 5, and 74. So, what's he talking about? The word day for us means a 24-hour cycle, but God uses the word day in the Quran a little bit differently. It can mean the 24-hour cycle, but a day in God's sight isn't what a day is in our sight. So the weird thing is that God's names have cycles. They actually have cycles. So for God, a day is equal to either 1,000 years or a day is equal to 50,000 years. But also, what you'll find out in a second is that in Arabic, day can also mean the smallest possible unit of time, the zaman al-farid, right? So here, the day is the shortest of all days, corresponding to the present instant or the indivisible moment, zaman al-farid. As for the divine tasks, they are all the things, states, and situations found in engendered existence. What does this mean? It means that when God is in each day, that means each moment, right? So each moment he's upon a task. The task are the things that happen in existence. Each thing you see happening, that's his task. That's what he's busy with. He's busy doing something. So he is each day upon some task. The day is the indivisible moment, while the task is that which God causes to occur within it. Days are many. Some are short and some are long. The smallest of them is the indivisible moment, in respect of which came the verse, each day he is upon some task. God named the indivisible moment a day because a task is made to occur within it. So it is the shortest and most minute of days. Though the days are diverse in their measures and in their correspondence with solar days, God's command within them is like the twinkling of an eye. The day may even be smaller than the twinkling of an eye. Its measure may be the supposed indivisible moment, which is the day of the task. In regard to the real, the task is one, but in regard to the receivers in the cosmos, that's us, all the receivers are tasks. Were it not for the fact that existence confines them, we would say that they are infinite. The factor that separates two similars among things is difficult to perceive through witnessing, except for him who witnesses the real or who verifies his witnessing of a chameleon. The factor that separates two similars, right? The pencil one moment, the pencil the next moment, to me they look exactly the same, but they're not. They're two similars. They're not two same pencils. They're two similar pencils. So the factor that separates two similars among things is difficult to perceive. It's very hard to witness, except for him who witnesses the real or who verifies his witnessing of a chameleon. Since there is no animal that shows more clearly that the real possesses the property of each day he's upon some task than the chameleon. So no attribute and no state in the cosmos remains for 2 moments, nor does any form become manifest twice. The reason he says that, because his idea of a chameleon is a bit different to our idea of a chameleon, is that the chameleon does not stay the same color twice. Why? Because it takes on the color of each thing it steps on, of each place it goes to. Now, in modern science, we say that the chameleon's color is altered by its mood response to certain emotions like fear and temperature. But here he's saying the chameleon responds to each place it walks to, it takes on the color. So literally, each task that God does, he takes on that color. So the chameleon is the animal, the divine animal, that shows that divine truth, that each day he's upon a task. God says, each day he is upon some task. The smallest of the days is the indivisible moment. In it, he is upon his tasks, the number of the indivisible parts of the cosmos which are in existence. Hence, he is upon some task with every part of the cosmos. In that he creates within it that which lets it remain. These tasks are the states of the creatures, who are the loci for the existence of the tasks within them. Since it is within them, just a second, sorry. since it is within them that he creates those states perpetually. Hence, no state can remain for 2 moments, since were it to remain for 2 moments, the real would not be the creator of that thing in which the state remained. It would not be poor toward God and would be qualified by independence from him. But this is impossible. Okay, and let's just leave it at that. The next we come to the breaking habits, which is basically miracles. Any questions or thoughts?
No, we were talking about how Allah encompasses everything, and actually
Yes.
we never see the things, we only see him.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how that relates to this him constantly changing everything, because we never see that changing. How that relates to him encompassing everything as well, that. Is there anything you can elucidate on that?
Could it be mirrors? You're seeing him, but in the mirror of the thing. And each mirror has different shapes. You're seeing him, so all you see is him. But then if all you see is him, why does everything look different? Because he doesn't change, right? So if he doesn't change, you should only see one thing. But we see many things because you're not looking at him directly because you'd be incinerated. You're not looking at him directly. You're looking at him in the mirror of a thing. And the mirrors are different shapes and sizes.
Can we say our perspective at our certain conscious level that makes us see in a different way depending on our level of consciousness?
Oh, totally. 100%.
So it's like a perspective thing. My perspective now is like this. That's why I see him in that way. And
yeah. If you were a mystic and you underwent mystical annihilation, the annihilation of your consciousness, what you'd see is something totally different.
Yeah.
And then you'd come back into your normal mode of view and you tell people what you saw. And you tell them, like you tell them what you see isn't real. It's something else. It's not what you think it is. And then there's different levels of annihilation. There's different levels of annihilating your consciousness.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Faris, may I say one thing?
Yes.
It came to me this morning, actually, the verse of Sayyidina Ibrahim, when he was looking at the sun and he's saying, no, this is not God. And
Yes.
then the moon, no, this is God, and this is not, this is God, this is God. But I don't know why it came to me that these are states.
Oh,
Like, it could be a state that I'm seeing God this way, and then I change the state to see this God that way, and then in another state I see God that way until I find the truth.
MashaAllah. That's brilliant.
Allahu
brilliant.
a'lam, yani. This is what came to me because we keep changing as well. Like we keep as well, like me, for me, I keep changing even my perspective towards God. It depends on the state that I am in, it depends. That's why he has
Yes.
all
Yes.
Asma al-Husna as well. And it came to me as well, this verse in Quran, we call upon him Allah or Ar-Rahman. Whatever
Yes.
we call upon him, he has the Asma al-Husna. And it came to me that about Sayyidina Ibrahim, and he's seeing God in, it's like states, I think. I don't know. What's your intake on that, or how you feel?
No, I think that's a beautiful observation. And I think like that's worth thinking more about. The tafsir of those verses is that what he talks about, the stars and the moon and the sun, that's called the three barahin. It's the three barahin, the three proofs he brings against his qawm. That's the tafsir of it, which Ibn Arabi agrees with. But there's way more to it than that, like what you're pointing to. Uh, what you're pointing to, there's something happening there. It's like, because he's not just talking about the planets, it's also about his states. And I agree with you. It's
Because this the way he sees God. So he's in a state connecting with this creation. He's saying, "Oh, this is God," and this is what we as well do. We connect to certain things, and we say that this is God because we cannot reach to the ultimate form of us seeing the ultimate God. It's like everyone has his own perspective in looking at God in one way, and then even this state changes. If we're walking through the path, even the people that we meet, the places, the surroundings, like it changes.
100%.
Subhanallah.
100%. And that's why, like, there's a hadith or there's a khabar that the believer, his state changes 70,000 times a day, right?
Subhanallah.
Right? Whereas having like a stiff, hard heart means your state doesn't change, right? Like something in you is broken if your state is like completely still all the time. And there's like no change in your state whatsoever, you know? Yeah, that's such an interesting observation. Jazakum khairan for sharing it.
جزاكم الله كل خير يا رب.
Allah
بارك
يبارك فيك.
الله فيكم.
Irvina.
I encountered a similar commentary of that instance with Hazrat Ibrahim in a book called Women of Sufism by Camila Adams Helminski. I will try to find it and share in the group chat. What strikes me the most there is that Allah in other ayats says that Ibrahim was never an idolater.
Correct, yes.
So personally, when I read the ayats that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam is talking about the stars, the moon, the sun, I always imagine him in a mountain somewhere alone, not in front of his people at all.
People, yeah.
So, there can be these kinds of interpretations as well. And even if he was alone, he wasn't an idolater. And this is important to notice, I guess.
And he was never an idolater.
He was never an idolater. And it's very powerful.
Yeah, mashallah. That story has so many interesting like points, mashallah. And it's like he's going through different levels of shuhud, different levels of witnessing, until he comes to the level which is the formless level, in which Allah, he's the Badi' al-samawati wal-ard, Rabb al-samawati wal-ard, the originator of the heavens and the earth, which has no form, right? And then he comes to that. Yeah. Allah yabarak fiki. Yes, Hannah.
Well, I just thought of those, like talking the stars, the moon, and the sun. And it's also isn't that how you talk about the awliya Allah, like the stars and the moon, sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Yes.
Is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then the sun is like symbolic for us. So maybe it's relating to that somehow as well. And
sure. Like that story has like many allusions, if you like, isharat. Yeah.
And then I would just that one thing about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he's standing in the divine presence and he prays 2 rakahs and he says, "Oh Allah, this is how you are," because Allah is unveiling. And then he says, prays 2 rakahs again and says, "Astaghfirullah," because Allah opens a new unveiling of
His
presence. So in a way, it's like this constant recreation thing again as well, isn't it? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is witnessing directly everything. and he is the mirror through which we see what's going on. The Prophet ﷺ is the mirror, isn't he? The mirror of Allah's
He's
mirror.
yeah, he's the mirror we're supposed to take. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Allah Barak Fiki. Okay, guys. I'm gonna stop recording now. Was it